Hi, I'm Joel Farabee, and you're listening to Snow the Goalie.
We'd like to welcome into Snow the Goalie our first repeat guest on the show, Russ, Flyers forward Joel Farabee. Joel, thanks for joining us here once again on Snow the Goalie.
Yeah, thanks for having me again. It's a great podcast. Happy to be back.
Awesome. It's a good time to get you. You know, last couple games, you lit the lamp. You got back on the scoring score sheet, and things are going well for you. Can you talk a little bit about kind of finally get rolling again, and then helping to contribute offensively once again?
Yeah, I mean, I think this past month has been kind of crazy. I mean, I think I was up to maybe in the second line, and then kind of moved my way down to the fourth line. So I was kind of just fighting to stay up for a little bit, but then I got a little more comfortable with my line mates and stuff like that. Found a little chemistry, and we've been playing pretty well. So. Obviously to have goals in back-to-back games is really good for me, and if the team's winning, then everyone's happy.
You mentioned moving around the lineup a little bit. Is it hard to kind of juggle yourself, or know that you're okay? We're gonna take off the second line, we're gonna move you down, and then you move back up again, and then you get moved back down again. It's just you're kind of all over the place. Is it hard to kind of wrap that around your head at all, or do you just say, hey, I'm still here, I'm still playing NHL, let's just roll and do what best I can?
Yeah, I think at the end of the day you have a job to do, so you got to do what you got to do. But I think the hardest thing is just finding that chemistry with your line mates. When you're constantly shuffling, at times it can get a little hard to find offense that way. But I thought the past 3 games playing with Bunny and Petter has been really good. So. We've been playing really well as a fourth line, and obviously trying to help the team as much as we can.
It'd be understandable, given where you started at on this team, and then seeing yourself kind of getting bounced around. It would be understandable if you got a little bit down on yourself at any point. And guys talk a lot about the resiliency and needing consistency and building confidence. How do you make that kind of transition as you kind of found yourself in a lower six role, to not lose the confidence that was a big part of why you were on the team in the first place?
Yeah, I think when we were in Carolina last, Coach Yo actually gave me really good advice. He said, don't worry about the points right now. He said, just focus on each shift, shift to shift. And he said, hopefully by mid-second period, you're feeling really good about your game. So that's kind of how I took it, just shift by shift, not really focus on the big picture, just kind of focus on what's in front of me. And I think that helped me build a little confidence, and obviously then the goals started to come. So like you said, confidence is really big in this league. When guys are playing confident, that's when they're playing their best. So just trying to stay consistent with that, and try and have as much of it as I can.
Have you hit the point yet in that confidence and seeing the way that things have really gone well, especially recently, where you find yourself feeling like you belong?
Yeah, I mean, I think, just personally, I think, you always tell yourself that you belong and that you can be one of the best players. And I think, that's why a lot of the guys in our team or even around the league have made it that far, because they have that mindset. So I think just, knowing in my heart that I can play in this league and help the team is something that, it's in the back of my head. But at the end of the day, you have to perform. So, just whatever role I'm given that night is, what I'm going to do, and whatever, like I said before, whatever I can do to help the team.
You talked about Mike Yo telling you, to focus on the shift and to really kind of simplify it, right? I guess one of the hardest things, and correct me if I'm wrong, for a young player is when you make it into the NHL, is that you're so used to being the guy, right? That your team has relied on to score, that when all of a sudden now you're not scoring at that level, that's kind of where it starts creeping your head, right? That what am I doing wrong if I'm not scoring like that? But in essence, you still could be playing a really good brand of hockey, just not on the score sheet.
Yeah, I think that was a big transition for me. Coming from college, I'd have a bad shift, and I'd be right back out there for another one. I'd get another opportunity here. If I have a bad shift, I might not go back out there. You know what I mean? So I think my mindset, you have to be focused every shift, every time you're out there. So just try and keep it simple, not do too much, but you got to make plays and stuff like that too. So I think that's where that confidence comes in. I think before, when I was struggling, I didn't have that confidence, and I was trying to make plays, and it wasn't really working, and I was getting hard on myself. But now I'm starting to feel a little bit more comfortable in the role I have, and it's been a lot better.
What's it like for you physically at this point? Because I mean, we're just crossing the halfway point in this season, and you still got 34 games to go, and then hopefully beyond that, playoffs as well. And this is like, you're pretty much maxing out at what you're used to as far as college hockey, as far as the number of games. What's that like for you physically?
Yeah, I think in college last year I played 36 games last year, so I mean
Yeah.
that goes by pretty quick here. So I think I've handled it pretty well. Obviously, you know, I've been talking a lot with you know, our weight guys and our nutritionist Nairi, just trying to stay fueled up, stay healthy, and you know, obviously being a little undersized, it's tough at times. But I think the transition, it was hard at first, but I think I'm starting to pick up on things that I'm used to, and you know, things to eat and stuff like that help me, you know, each day.
Is that one of the like a lot of times guys talk about the lack of sleep, right? And it's not just in the NHL. Like the NBA was going through this thing recently where a lot of their star players said that one of the hardest things to transition into is just not being home, and sleep not always having been something that leagues put a lot of emphasis on. For you, especially because of this extended season, are you kind of feeling the strain of the lack of sleep, or do you somehow, as a pro athlete, you know, at the NHL level at the first time, find yourself feeling like almost as normal as ever?
Yeah, I think you know, when we just, you know, play East Coast teams, I think it's fine. I kind of figured out, you know, when to go to bed and stuff like that. But I thought when we went on the West Coast trip and then came back, I thought that was really tough because obviously you're, you know, with the time change and stuff like that, that can really add up. So I think, yeah, sleep's definitely huge, especially with the back-to-backs that we've been having. So you know, you got to get rest, and you know, the teams that have the most rest, they usually come out the hardest. So it's a big part of the game.
You got the break coming up. Couldn't come at a better time for you. Like we were just talking about that point in the season where you're like, okay, now you got to figure it out physically. Do you have any plans? Anything exciting you're going to do? Going to get to go home, or are you going to go away on vacation? Anything fun?
Nothing crazy. I think I'm just going to go see my girl. She goes to school in it's Grand Valley State in Grand Rapids, Michigan. So I'm just going to go spend a few days there. Maybe bounce home before. But yeah, just keep it relaxed, not do too much. You know, trying to refuel the body and then get ready for the big second push we need.
I got to ask this question because I asked Matt Niskanen was just in here talking with us, and you know, he's a veteran guy, so I think that he kind of feels probably one way, and I have a feeling you might tell me the other. Jake is a DJ in the locker room. What do you think? Good or no?
Well, I think we actually have a really good mix. So Jake takes the first half of like the whole game routine, and then Scott Lawton takes like right before the game stuff. So I think it's a really good mix. You know, Jakey's kind of old school, like older rock songs and stuff like that, which I like, and then, you know, Scotty's more like EDM, dance music, stuff like that before we go on. So I think it's actually a really good mix. I know a lot of guys are happy with the music in the locker room, which is good.
That's a surprise to me. I got to be honest with you. I just assumed it was a generational thing, that like the younger guys wouldn't like what Jake's playing, and that the older guys would think it's great.
Yeah, I mean, my dad's really big into like rock music, classical rock, so I was kind of born into it. I always listened to it, so I kind of know a lot of the songs that Jake plays, which is good for me. Maybe some of the other guys not so much, but and then when Scotty comes in, I know a lot of those too. So it's
awesome.
It's great for me. Yeah.
Awesome. We've been talking. We asked one of the things we're starting to ask guys is tell us a little bit about your hometown and what makes it kind of a cool place to go. Like we talked to Matt, he's from a town called Virginia, Minnesota, which is in the middle of nowhere, but he was saying what's awesome if you're an outdoorsy type. You're from Cicero, New York, which is just outside of Syracuse.
Yep.
But is there anything like really cool about Cicero that's like that people don't really know about it?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a couple of good restaurants that are good if you've ever been to a dinosaur barbecue.
No, dinosaur barbecue?
Yeah, that's what it's got. It's really big. I think there's one in Syracuse, one in Rochester, maybe a couple others. But yeah, it's a little chain. It's really good. For G's birthday, I got him sauce from the dinosaur barbecue sauce to get it for his birthday. So whenever I go home, it's a good place to go. So if you're ever in Syracuse, New York, you got to go to dinosaur barbecue.
We're gonna have to reach out to them and let them know that they're
going to get a sponsor now.
Oh yeah.
There you go.
Time for a spokesman.
That's right.
Deal. I think you've got to
That's
work
right.
this one out. Maybe we'll have to retract this part of the audio until we get that lined up for you.
Okay.
I've got nothing.
I thought you were ready to go.
Well, here, I guess, you know, I think we brought this up to you the last time. We talked about hockey movies, how you're wrong. And just wanted to know, because things are always changing, and especially the West Coast swing and such, was there anything that you streamed? Was there anything that you binged recently that you want to let the people know about?
You know, a lot of people have told me to watch Trailer Park Boys.
That's such a Canadian thing.
I started it a while ago and I hated it. Okay. And then I just recently got back into it. So I've been watching that. I'm really big into The Office. I think I've seen the whole thing probably at least 8 times.
Yeah.
I'm actually not really super into a show right now. I haven't I have to find a show that I'm like really into. I actually just watched the Aaron Hernandez.
Was it good?
Was it
thing.
good? It's
It's
on my
really
list.
good.
Yeah.
If you're into that, I mean, obviously it's kind of crazy, that whole story, but the documentary was really well done, I thought. So that's really cool. I think it's like 3 episodes each an hour. So
Yeah.
it's
Well,
quick.
if you're into documentaries, and I know I can't say it because we're going to be on the radio, it's going to be said, but Netflix, don't F with cats.
I watched 20 minutes of it. I couldn't stomach it.
Oh my God!
Beat me out so bad.
It gets worse.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
it's
know.
craziness.
I watched it with Phil Myers. It was like he was on like the second episode, and I watched for 20 minutes. I was like, I can't watch this any longer. Can't do it.
It's nuts.
Well, you brought up The Office a little bit ago. Let me just. Yep. So I've got the Schrute Farms, the Beat Farms shirt on here today. Let me ask you, favorite character from The Office?
Creed, 100%.
Just because
Without
of
a
the
question.
comedic timing?
I think he's always there. He's always like he's not big into it. Like he doesn't have a big role, I wouldn't say, but like that character is so funny.
Have you done any of the deep dives into the Scranton Strangler conspiracy theory that Toby was actually the Scranton Strangler? And there's also one about Creed as well.
I've seen the one about Creed.
Okay.
That's who I believe it is.
Okay.
Right? I haven't seen the one about Toby. I'm gonna
yeah.
have to look at that.
You know why?
The whole thing
You know
is
why
this-
he's so caught up in this? This is like where he's Mr. Schuylkill County.
Yeah.
It's from up that vicinity. So like this is like his life story. The Office.
Yeah.
How did you feel about the show when Michael Scott was off?
You know what? It's still good, but it's not The Office. I think once he leaves, it's like it's like a totally different feel. I still think it's funny,
Yeah.
but obviously, like seasons 4, 5, 6, those are the best.
They need a reunion. I think they've been talking.
They can't
about
get
it.
away with it.
Yeah,
that
that's what,
show in this
Steve Carell said.
in this current climate, there is
He
no
said-
way that show works.
Yeah, he said it wouldn't work anymore.
Maybe you know what they did? They did the brought back All in the Family for a one-night show.
They did, but
and
that's different.
That doesn't
That's
work in
different.
this society anymore,
Yeah,
right?
but
I think they can get away with it for
different.
one shot only.
That's social commentary. I think that's a different thing altogether.
Yeah, plus I think if they came back too, it'd be like too forced too.
Yeah.
Like the show's so funny how it is.
Yeah.
That's fair. That's fair.
See, I kind of, oddly enough, in the moment, I liked the show better when Michael Scott was off
Really?
because it allowed for the ensemble cast to shine.
Okay, yeah.
So, Creed doesn't necessarily get as much, but Stanley. I like Stanley.
Yeah.
Because Stanley gets excited about Pretzel Day like
Right.
Anthony
Yeah,
does. And just like seeing the dynamic change when they're down in Florida.
Yeah.
And Stanley like pulls up with the convertible. Like,
Yeah.
I kind of like those sorts of moments a little bit better. I don't know.
Yeah, okay.
Maybe it's just me.
That's fair.
I mean, I once unleashed a hot take that it's better when he's off, and then I went back and my wife and I binged it again. And now I kind of feel like it probably was better with Michael Scott.
But yeah, that's
but
kind of what I'm saying though. Like it's like 2 different shows almost. Like
Yeah.
it's one with Michael Scott and then one without it. Like you see the other characters when he's not there, obviously, but like it's like 2 different things.
That's good. The one question we forgot to ask Joel the last time we had him on, I think we forgot to ask him. You can correct me if I'm wrong, and if so, we'll just edit it out. We've asked every guy what your favorite barn has been to play in. It doesn't have to be in the NHL. It could be when you were in college, or even when you played, for USA hockey or anything along those lines. Is there a place that you really kind of stands out as memorable because something maybe something crazy happened there or anything?
I've played in a lot of cool places. I think playing in the Garden in Boston is
Okay.
really cool. So I played there in college for the Bean Pot.
Yeah.
And I think the first game we played Northeastern, it was like sold out, and it was like, wow, this is awesome. And then I went to a Vancouver-Boston game last year too, just like with my teammates, and like we just sat and we were just like, wow, this place is awesome. And
Yeah.
then getting to play there this year, and then I think when we played there, I scored in the shootout too. So
That's
like,
right, yeah.
I had a bunch of teammates there too, so like that was really cool. But yeah, the Garden's really cool. They have really good fans, and they're really into it. It's always loud there, so that's kind of like that.
See that? There we go. Good stuff. Well, Joel, we really appreciate you stopping by a second time. Always a friend of the show, and hopefully we'll have you again soon. Thanks again, man.
Thanks for having me. Anytime.
All right, appreciate it.